What's up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today we're going to be going over the March 2022 tier list. We've had quite a few changes to the tier list in the last little bit. We've had an additional of a couple new heroes, but we want to talk about mainly some of the edits we've done to the previous tier list and some changes because, of course, we have new game modes, things like that. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed just yet, hit that button because we're going to have a ton of good content coming out your way. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one as well. Let me know in the comments down below if you disagree with anything you see in this tier list. In the link in the description, we will also be putting a link to the actual image file of this if you want to save it yourself, because I know going through this video, we're not going to go through everything, so I want to make sure you guys can look at whoever you want. Let's get into it. So let's just jump right into this, talk about what a lot of people are looking for, and that's really the Transcendence heroes that are in the game right now. So undeniably, we have to say Sword Flash Shia and Scarlet Queen Halora still the #1 and #2 heroes in the entire game, and especially among the Transcendence heroes. If you're not building Sword Flash first and Queen second, you are hurting yourself on progress. They are must build heroes as your #1 and your #2. After that, Fairy Queen Vesta comes in. She's very strong, very versatile, and I feel like her value has gone up since the last tier list overall. She's just such a versatile hero. She can be used in any lineup pretty much, and she just immediately makes that team better. After that, we have the other ones like Lord of Fear Aspen, Asmodel, Starwing Jara, Sun Devourer Eos. As much as I love Sun Devourer Eos, we did have to kind of knock her towards the bottom of this list, even lower than Asmodel, mainly because #1, when it comes to a very important one, which is Sealand 21 to 30, which is a new column here, we had to adjust this one. Asmodel is the go-to for light Sealand 21 plus. Star Devourer Eos, while she can be useful, isn't as good as the Asmodel. Sun Devourer Eos is more, I think, of a PvP hero than some of the other Transcendence heroes. She can do very good, but she's a little bit harder to build around. She's one that you want a splendid melodic strings on. That round 1 active just is devastating to the other team. If you're not wheeling, you don't have multiple of that artifact melodic strings, you're really not going to want to build the Sun Devourer Eos. It's just kind of out of the picture here. Now, as far as non-Transcendence heroes, we still have Rogan way up the top here. The only thing he's really not great at is Aspen Dungeon. He can get Sealand 20 done with some you know, a little help with artifacts and stuff. Drake, of course. Drake is that combo with Sword Flash that is just never going to end. It's absolutely amazing and is the go-to combo. Even in PvP, he's still relevant. There's this like 3-team meta you kind of see a lot of people, a lot of average players using. #1 is, of course, the Sword Flash Shia team with the Drake. That team still does very good against some of the newer teams with Sherlocks, with Holmes Young, things like that. It does very good against that. What it doesn't do as good against is the Eos melodic string style teams, and the ones that are using the double pandas, which we're going to talk about the double Xiaoho here in a second, because that one has doubly bumped up on this list. And then you take that team, the panda team, and it kind of gets beaten by these new Holmes Young teams. So there's a really interesting PvP meta going on. A lot of these heroes are 10s, but just throwing them in your PvP lineup isn't going to mean you're going to win. It depends on what you're fighting, because it is a very counter play heavy meta based on what you're going to use. So that is still the same. But Holmes Young does jump way up on this list as the new hero. So way higher. Oops, I did the wrong thing. Way higher than where the regular Eos ended up on this list. Still not horrible, but really not that great. Holmes Young, though, is in an amazing spot. So Aspen Dungeon, he does absolutely amazing, and that's why we kind of called him a god tier hero, because besides Eloise, I mean, they're right up there, just as good as each other in just about everything. But Holmes Young has a little bit more uses in the end game, I feel like. Aspen Dungeon, I think the only thing he struggles with is Oberon waves. Besides that, you're going to have a very easy Death 100 run. In Tower of Oblivion, his CC and his poison is amazing. Same with Tower of Dreams. Now, he does do better when you have like 2 of him, just because the consistency of those 2 heroes works better, but one of them is still really good. Sealand 20, you guys saw earlier this week that he just solos it. Probably the second easiest solo Sealand 20 we've done since Eloise, and that's why they both get ranked at the very top of solo Sealand 20 rankings at a 10 out of 10. Just so good. You need like next to no support. Even Drake at a 9. Like the difference between a 9 and a 10 in the Sealand section is huge. Now Sealand 21 to 30, he is of course a support hero with some help in your damage field. Giving him an 8. Really, because he's not the main damage dealer. You're going to need your Sword Flash doing all your work. And at the same time, you don't need Holmes Young. You can always substitute a Holmes Young with a Sherlock with a Holmes Young. The only difference is when Sherlock gets a dove off in your 21 plus fights, that dove is there until the end of combat unless Sword Flash Shia breaks it herself or somebody else. Whereas Holmes Young kind of needs to live a little bit longer in order to keep doving the enemies, because of course the doves only last for 3 rounds. So that is the difference, but they are very interchangeable from what I've seen, especially in 26 and 27 Sealand. I have not seen anything past that because it's just ridiculously difficult. Realms Gate, he gets a 9 because Realms Gate's a lot like PvP style lineups. He does very good in both PvP and Realms Gate. Vortex, not so great. We haven't had a chance just yet to test him as a Jara replacement, but that'll happen this weekend, and this might go up in value. And then boss fights, we did some PvE boss fights with him. Wasn't something he was really great at, so not a big change. You will notice some slight changes throughout all the characters on their rankings this month, but there's nothing that notable except for Xiaoho. And what we did is we replaced Xiaoho with double Xiaoho, because if you build 1, you need to build 2. Having 1 on your team really doesn't do that much, but having 2 really increases his value on your account. The double Panda team is the PvP team, but it can be very useful in other game modes as well. So we did up his Aspen dungeon, I think just a tiny bit, from like 3 to 4 this month. The one big one that we did update is Tower. Because we're counting 2 of them, that means you're getting a ton more block chance and a ton more armor and all that stuff. Very strong. The next one is Tower of Dreams. I've actually had a lot of luck with him and Vesta style teams in Tower of Dreams overall. Now overall, you're probably going to want to still run those Sword Flash style teams if you're pushing progress, but if you're in the lower tiers, this makes clearing it and all the nightmare modes in like 4 and 5 much easier. Sealand 20, he's not really a great solo Sealand hero, but in Sealand 21 to 30, very good, and he gets a 9 because having a double lineup here with your Fairy Queen Vesta and some Rogans, absolutely important to getting the progress, which is very big. Realms Gate, again, Realms Gate is pretty much like PvP as far as rankings overall go, so he does get a 9 there. Boss damage, not great. Vortex, he's not really that amazing even in a pair. And then of course PvP at the end. We did label him as a support hero because that's really what he is. He's not a damage dealer. He's there to keep your entire team alive, or rather I should say they are here to keep your team alive. So overall he gets some good rankings. Very not that great early game score, great end game score, overall pretty good. So let me know what you guys think about the rankings here. If you guys want me to add more columns, I will. I also want to do a very similar list for first E5 heroes eventually, so that's going to be something I'm going to be working on with Delgico because he is the mastermind behind designing this entire tier list, and it makes it so easy to customize. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Let me know what you guys think about this month's tier list. We'll probably update it in another 2 to 3 months. We'll see. It just depends on what the meta looks like, and I'll see you guys next time.